Hi everybody. Hey, today you catch up with us at a place called Nenina? I don't know. Anyways, what makes this place famous is this wooden sculpture that you see here. They set it in the middle of the river, and during the ice breakup, it falls into the river. And what they do is they sell lottery tickets as to the exact date and time that structure is going to fall into the river. Well, a single person won it this year, and they got $311,000 for guessing the exact minute that it would fall into the river. This here is the tugboat Taku, who went into service in 1938 and was the last wooden tugboat to ever work the waters. She was finally laid up in 1978. The one thing that I found so amazing in many areas is that these items are on display and there's no graffiti all over them. You know, the windows aren't broken. It's just beautiful to see. So as we were approaching Fairbanks, we started thinking about, maybe we should stay in a motel or something like that, change of pace. But I think we had better stick to the trailer life. It's a bed without bed bugs for sure. So as big cities go, I really enjoyed Fairbanks. They have this place called Pioneer Park where they've taken a bunch of historic buildings and brought them all together and kind of created a makeshift town, so to speak. So where are we going?
Well, we are in Fairbanks, and we are in Pioneer Park, and we're going to see one of the shows.
Into a play.
It's a comedy. So that's where we're going.
Okay.
Maybe 1920 or so. It's 40 below outside, of course. The oil barrel stove is glowing and sputtering in the middle of the room, and old Louis Golden, with the red cheeks and the broad white apron, could tell you where everything was. The fruitcakes were right back there. No offense. The nuts were right here. Never mind where the crackers were. So there I was with my new wife Isabel and a few gold seekers of the usual sort, and I don't mean minors. Dumped out on a chunk of ground a little less swampy than elsewhere, but pretty much.
Godforsaken country, let me tell you!
I don't know what we would have done if it weren't for the sudden appearance of a hungry, half-crazed, and very lucky miner
Named Felix Pedro!
That's me!
And that fateful meeting
marked the birth of modern civilization in the Tanana Valley.
Imagination, or is everybody staring at me?
Oh, don't give it a thought. You're my guest, that's all. They'll warm up to you.
Oh, good.
Soon as you join the club.
I do the can whisper wee wee. I'm causing scandals and rumors by showing my bloomers. Doing the can but easier.
Well, there's some snippets of the funniest play we've seen in a long time. They covered how the Alaskan territory was founded and settled. The park has a whole bunch of industrial junk from the days gone by. I think a lot of it was probably used building the Alaskan Highway way back when. If this stuff could talk, it would tell you quite the story of more difficult times. Sure, we're supposed to be here. So I have to talk quiet.
Because it's a local hangout?
Because this is a local hangout and there's nothing but Alaskan plates.
Oh boy. Here we go. Ivory Jacks.
Ivory Jacks.
Okay, go.
Okay, go. It's on.
Okay, no erase. In Fairbanks, we were able to stay at a community garden, which was a member of Harvest Host. I absolutely loved walking around the garden. It was beautiful. Every time somebody would come to work on their plots, I would go out and visit with them, and they were very generous. We walked away with some delicious lettuce and a cucumber. The flowers were absolutely beautiful. One of the members of the garden told us to go down to the river in the morning and we would probably get to see a beaver. So sure enough, we did.
The beaver made several appearances, and I think he would spot us and then like disappear really quick. So we moved further up the bank and kind of hid behind some trees, and I think that put him at ease, and he hung around for quite a while. As we left Fairbanks, we stopped by the North Pole where it's always Christmas. This store sure had a collection of anything you want for Christmas in the middle of summer, of course. I tried out Santa's chair for a test fit, but I think I better leave it to a professional. The Alaskan pipeline is sure an achievement of modern society. It was started in 1975 and it was finished in 77 when the oil started to flow through the pipe. It's about 800 miles long and it cost $8 billion to build this thing. You do the math. So here's one of our great free camping spots that we found just as we're driving along. When we get tired, we start looking for a wide spot in the road, and this one turned out pretty sweet. So we found this ghost town along our travels in the Yukon. The town was founded in 1903, and within a year, about 2,000 claims had been filed for gold in that area. So by about 1914, less than $40,000 was found in these gold mines, but the town had invested over $300,000 in building and equipment and this type of thing. Not a very good investment. So about 1921, pretty much the town was abandoned, the post office had closed, etc. But then again in 1942, the Alaskan Highway was built and came through that area. So the town site was used again for a little while, very little while, just while that road was being built. So what do you think of that?
Pretty cool.
Now, why is that pretty cool?
Because it's old garbage and not new garbage. I don't know. I don't know. Why is it? Do you think it's cool?
I don't know. It's historic, but yeah, it's definitely his garbage pile. You know, this place, again, speaks to how there's very little vandalism around in this area. This one building here, the screens are still in the windows and they're unbroken, right? And that's been, what, 80 years or something like that, and the screens are still left in the window unbroken. Pretty amazing. We find it interesting that the town is actually privately owned. It's not on federal land or anything like that. So I guess there was a plan at one time to restore the buildings, this, that, and the other, but I doubt that'll ever happen. As we walked around this town, there's really a haphazard arrangement to the way the buildings have been set. There's no specific main street. They're just, you know, where somebody decided to build a building, they did. And they left a walkway in between to get to the neighbor's house, I guess. You look at how tightly these corners have been formed, and the fact that they've been there for 100 years plus, 120 years, speaks to the workmanship and the skill that they had building these buildings. This is a pretty cool town. We've arrived in Haines specifically to come to Fort Seward. So the fort is one of 11 military posts established during the gold rush to provide a policing presence, and it was in operation from 1902 to about 1945. Originally there was about 85 buildings in the fort. There are substantially less now. The ones that are left are the barracks, private homes. They were all duplexes, actually. So here we are walking along, enjoying this nice town, and we see a cultural arts building, and we're kind of wondering what the contents were. Well, right about that time, this gal walks up and starts to talk to us and tells us all about the Cultural Arts Center, and we had a wonderful 20-minute conversation with her. So a little while later, we're passing by the same area, and Kay, then she says to us, "Hey, you want to go for a boat ride and go put some crab pots in the water?"
And we looked at each other and went, "Sure, let's do it."
Well, yeah. So the next thing you know, we're outfitted with official Alaskan boots, and off we go on this little boat to go put crab pots in the water.
The boat originally came with a depth finder, and it doesn't work.
So our depth finder is now our rope, which we discovered last year that if you drop a 50-foot line in 60 feet of water, it goes underneath the water, and you have to come back the next day at low tide to get your pot. We watched ours sink right down to the bottom and hope that doesn't drift away to Juneau. Rookie mistake.
Find out which way the boys blew this up. So what I did this afternoon after church is I went down to the boat harbor and I scavenged 2 salmon carcasses that fishermen had brought in, and then they just take the fillets and leave the heads and guts, right? So I went in, cut them out of their bucket, and then
Where did I leave that?
keep them for ourselves.
We have a cleaning area down on the docks.
Oh, okay.
On the main dock.
Okay.
Towards the big rock.
Okay. So we caught more females that way.
And is that good, bad, or?
Females you cannot keep. You can only keep males, and they have to be a certain size.
Okay.
Bigger than 6. What is it?
Yeah.
6 what?
6.5 inches. So inside the bait box, I got the head, and then each one of these traps, on all 4 sides, there's a little trap door. So the crab, they're scavengers, so they get the scent of the fish, come in here and they look for it, and they try to get in, and then they finally find a hole.
This is about where you want to be, I think.
A little further. So normally we would have the depth finder that's right in front of Kate, but somewhere along the line that got damaged, and it doesn't work. So now we just fish when we have enough line.
Okay, I'm in neutral right now.
Okay.
So we go and we just drop it until we see if the booty stays in the boat.
Can you go in reverse?
And then your buoy has your name on it?
Everybody's name and address.
How on earth do you figure it out?
You good?
Yep.
Okay, now we're...
Let's we're gonna end up taking me up there towards those rocks. We'll drop the other 50. Yeah. And then if you look around to the left, it goes into another deep valley, not that shallow in there. But that's the Davidson Glacier.
Okay.
And if you can you see that from Chilkat State Park? The Davidson? But when I came up here to fly, we'd come around the rainbow in the airplane and go up that valley and literally skim over the top of the Davidson Glacier and come down on the other side of this range. It's Glacier Bay National Park.
Okay.
But there's lots of camping and cruise ships going there.
Right.
It's a beautiful natural glacier, tidewater glaciers, and a lot of marine life in there. It's a really cool place.
So at this point, we'd really like to reach out and thank Rick and Kay for their kindness. I think this was one of our best experiences of our trip. What do you
It was
think?
definitely a highlight. They were just so nice, and it was just a lot of fun. We really enjoyed our boat ride and our time spent with them.
That's it for this week. Until next time.
Don't forget, if you liked the video, hit the subscribe button and also hit the like button.